Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Crossbuckle Homestead. We're taking care of a few things this morning. We went to Wild's Apple Farm, our local apple farm, yesterday and picked up about $50 worth of apples. Doesn't seem like that would be very many, but we did get a full bushel of seconds. So those are all the ones that are funny shaped and a little bit damaged. A full bushel is about 45 pounds. We also picked up about 30 pounds of eating apples. Part of those we are going to prepare for dehydration. And then the cast-offs of that, so like the skin and the cores from the dehydrator, we are actually going to process, hopefully, into apple cider vinegar, which we haven't. We are also going to be making some apple butter. I know the other day when I posted the video about pear butter, I said that right around this time we tend to do some apple butter, and so we're going to be making apple butter with that full bushel of apples. Over here we have a gallon of apple cider reducing. This is going to take quite some time. So what I'm going to do basically is I concentrate that apple flavor down, and we're going to be making, I think, 2 batches today of apple butter. And what I do is add part of this concentrated apple cider into the apple butter, and it just makes it extra appley, which is really nice to have that boost of flavor. Makes it our apple butter a little bit better than everyone else's, to be quite honest. And then this is our bushel of seconds. So you can see some of them are a little soft. They're all different kinds. Here's one that's kind of a strange shape. But you know, when they're all ground down and cooked down into apple butter, no one's going to know the difference. And so that's why we work with this particular apple farm. They're able to give us kind of all of the weird looking ones, and it makes it a lot more affordable for us to put some of this food away. This is the dehydrator setup. So we've got our apple core set up. We've got our bucket of water with a little bit of lemon juice in there to keep the apples from kind of graying out before they get into the dehydrator. And that is a 10-pound bag of Newtown pippins. Pippins are a little bit tart, so when they dehydrate, they have a really interesting flavor, which makes them fun to eat. And then this is our apple cider vinegar setup. We've got apple cores going into an old white vinegar bottle, as well as some apple skins going into our crock for fermentation. Okay, so this is our apple core setup. This is just a Vittorio apple core that we purchased on Amazon. Probably one of the best purchases that we've made on Amazon thus far, because it cuts down on the amount of work. There is a little lever on this side of the apple core, and we just have the suction kind. This works great on our granite countertops. It also worked perfectly fine on our Formica ones too, so I would imagine that it works great on wood tables, just about anything that is a solid surface. So you crank over this lever and that secures the suction. This piece right here that you see, let me get this a little bit closer. So this piece that you see right here is actually going to cut off the skin, and then this piece right here is a blade that allows the apple to be cored. So when I move through this process, you'll see that there's going to be 2 pieces of discard. One is the core, one's the skin, and then the other is going to be a spiral cut apple. And then I cut that down one side, and that is what makes the apple rings for our dehydrator. So I've got this secured. I've got an apple on the bit. There's this little lever right here that allows me to push the apple towards up where it's up against the peeler. And then I turn the handle, and the skin comes free from the apple and the core. Here is the apple with no core. I just take a knife, I cut it down one side, and then what you have here is essentially an apple ring. So I've got, and then I'm going to pop this into the water that has a little bit of lemon juice just to keep it from kind of tarnishing. This apple skin is going to go into the crock for apple cider, and then this apple core that you have to kind of fight to get off is going to go into one of the vinegar bottles as well. And then you just start again. So you move this lever, you pull this back, and then this is where the apple attaches. Try and get it as centered as possible. That way you get a core that actually is coring the fruit. Shove that on there. Push this towards the skinner. This is going to skin. The apple. It doesn't work perfectly every time, but it's pretty dang good. I do have this towel set here so that any of the juice that runs off of the apple, because these apples are juicy, kind of gets onto the towel rather than creating an apple juice lake. This is how we do it. I'm going to go through 10 pounds of apples, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it goes onto the dehydrator. All right, so I think we have as many apples as is going to fit into our dehydrator. So you're going to join me into the garage, and we are going to go ahead and load up the dehydrator. We have our dehydrator in the garage because it makes the house smell entirely like whatever you're dehydrating, because it circulates air through there. So we did dried garlic in the very beginning, and our whole house smelled not as good as you would imagine that it smelled. With the apples, they get very sweet. We also dehydrate pineapples, and that absolutely makes the house way too sweet. So we put it in the garage. It also runs a fan the whole time, so it can be a little bit irritating in the noise front. But if we put it in the garage, it takes care of everything, and we just have to remember to go out and check it. This will probably take until tomorrow morning to dehydrate. Okay, so this garage should look familiar from some of our other videos. There is our dehydrator. So I just go ahead, take this off, and then I pull out one of these trays. They're lined with a piece of plastic that it comes with. This is just an Excalibur. Up in the back, you'll see that that's where the temperature controls are. So the book tells you exactly how hot to keep the dehydrator to make the food taste its best. It also tells you approximately how long to run the dehydrator for. In Indiana, it gets really humid, and so if we're doing any of this food preservation in the wintertime, in the summertime, then it actually takes quite a bit longer than is prescribed in the book, just because it's so dang humid here. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting in some apples on these trays, and we'll see if I can get the camera set up so that you can see that. And just lay them out in a single layer. Hopefully all of these apples will fit in this dehydrator today. Only got through about half of the 10-pound bag of apples, so I'm hoping that we'd be able to do this again tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to repeat all the way up the dehydrator, and then I'll show you what our finishing product
I just did something really dumb. I evidently deleted 2 of the videos that we were going to post this week. One that shows the remainder of the apple canning, apple butter canning, and another whole soap video, our very first soap making video. Those are gone. So I'm going to go ahead and post this apple video without any of the conclusions. Sorry. And hopefully we can get in some water bath canning in the future. And I know that we'll be making more soap for sure. Sorry about that. Thanks for understanding. Remember to like and subscribe.